my religion. I have been battling with religion my whole life, and I'm sure everybody else has. Coming to terms with researching all different types of religion. I'd like to take bits and pieces of what makes sense to me. I think that in general makes sense, but I'm not gonna, I know what I'm about to say, people are gonna be like, oh, he's just way off the charts, but now that people are researching into aliens and things like that, it's coming down to people realizing that they're very much possibly out there, and it makes sense that we were not just evolved from apes, primates, because all the other types of animals in the world would have evolved as well. Why aren't dogs and cats able to communicate with humans? They didn't evolve. Birds didn't evolve. What about lizards and insects that have been here before humans? Why didn't they evolve and start talking and being able to do things that we're able to do? So I think in some way that we were visited a long time ago by a superior race that happened to use us as a form of control or slavery to be able to mine for possibly gold or any other resources that they needed for their planet. And if this really doesn't make sense to people, I'm sorry, this is how I think. I really like to research these things, and I like to think of religion and technology as one and the same. We're built to use more than what we do in our brains, which is 10%, as we are told, is what we use. And that's it. I mean, we are meant to be upgraded. Where is the other parts of our brain that we're not using, what is it for? It's there for a reason. We must be able to be upgraded. We're meant to evolve. And to make something such as a human is gotta be just things that we can't understand. It's genius. Humans are a work of art. And I just don't see a dog being as much of a work of art as a human. I don't know if dogs were meant to evolve, but I just really didn't research that, but I doubt it. But I know we are. We are meant to become much more than what we are. And I just can't see that Jesus may have came along one day. He might have been walking the earth and saying, I am the father of a god or something. There's so many gods out there, so many versions. And especially now, they've been rewritten and contorted and corrupted in many different ways that the story is not straight anymore. So we're pretty much reading the last versions of a purified book in many versions around the world. Bible being one of them. I know Christians are going to hate this, but I'm sorry. I just can't believe in, in the Bible that you guys believe in, or Mormons. I'm just not strictly into one book. I do battle with the fact that Jesus walked the earth. It is possible, and it's not like I don't celebrate the holidays or anything like that. I do think about it. I have prayed to God in many times in my life when I've needed it, but I haven't seen any result, or I haven't been touched in any way to believe in this one God that is going to save us all. I have more of a scientific mind, and I believe that we are an energy, and energy is always moving. No matter if you die, your energy is going to go somewhere in life. Where we go, I don't believe it's just one place. There are many places we are going to go. I don't think your soul can be damned forever. I'm sure there are places that people that have done serious crimes that they have to pay for them. I'm definitely sure about that. It only makes sense. But it's questions that we're not meant to know yet. We're not meant to know until we die. So why don't we think about life instead of death? Because there'll be that time when we die. We're all gonna die, and we're all gonna figure it out later. So deal with it now. But I do think that a supreme race came to this earth, messed with DNA, made humans, and used us for what they wanted. Let's say that we became very evolved more than what we are now. We had spaceships and we could go to different planets. Let's say you have a crew and you end up on a planet that's very primitive and you're able to rule. Wouldn't you do it? Wouldn't you proclaim yourself as God and say, I am the one true God, and you have all this technology that they don't understand, so they think that you have powers, you have things that they don't know about, so therefore they're just going to think you're some type of God because you have this big spacecraft that they've never seen before, and you're touching down on that planet, and they haven't figured that out. So you must be a God because you can fly, and you have all these things that they just can't understand. I think that's what happened here. I think it's happened all over the place. I think that we've actually had, this planet has had more technology than what we've had now a long time ago. It just happened that it got wiped out at some point in time. The earth aligned in some way that it got ruined, and whatever survived. If it looks like, even the Mayans disappeared all of a sudden. Why would that happen? Why would they just disappear? I think they might have left the planet because of the state it was becoming into, or there was a war of the worlds. They decided to have a fight over the planet and it got destroyed in some way. There are many versions. So really, I just study all these things and I just take bits and pieces of what makes sense to me. And what makes sense to me is that pretty much if you watch the movie Stargate, if you've already seen it, you got an idea of kind of how I think. But Stargate is a very good movie for basically how I think about how things happen. And in that movie, what happened is they find a Stargate that leads to another planet, which has the same atmosphere that we have, and it's in the desert. So it looks like it's an Egyptian time. And there was this alien that was able to use a human as a host, and because humans are so easily, sorry, I don't know the word, easily healed than what that race was able to be, it took over control of a human and became a human for, I don't know, he must have had the technology to be able to infect the human like a virus or something like that. But took control of a human, proclaimed himself God, used the humans to mind a very powerful form of, I think it was something that they could weaponize to build better bombs or something like that. so they'd be able to stay in control. But they didn't know what they were mining. They were just mining it, but they didn't know how to use it. So humans were just slaves. They were just slaves to the higher race, and they had a pyramid, which was part of the spaceship, and they weren't allowed near the pyramid, so they weren't able to figure out the technology. What happened on Earth was they were able to write, and the humans figured out that the aliens were not really gods, they were just high in technology. So an uprising happened, and there was a big fight. So what happened is they buried the Stargate, and when they traveled to another planet that was inhabitable, they continued using humans as slaves and didn't allow writing. So they weren't able to write, so they weren't able to figure out some kind of language, or they weren't able to read books and history, so they could keep control over these humans, which makes sense. You want to create a race that is intelligent, but you don't want them to figure out that you're not a god. So it only makes sense that, they're not the, most promising race, but they want to rule and they want to be able to live forever. They had a machine that was able to fix humans and be able to cheat death. I doubt that is possible to cheat death. It doesn't matter what you are, you're going to die. But from what I've researched about Area 51 and when they had some aliens that were there and they were able to speak to them through some kind of telepathy, and they had an interpreter, and they said that the aliens weren't afraid to die because they know that they would continue on with their energy and be able to claim another vessel at some point. So they were not scared to die. So they know something more than we do when we die. They obviously figured it out. I know there's a lot about ghosts and stuff like that. I believe in ghosts, and I know ghosts can be trapped because I believe there's a lot of evil out there, and when you die and you become stuck in between worlds because you didn't see the light and try to move on to where you're supposed to go, you're able to be trapped in some form of dimension that we're not able to see very well, which technology is getting better where we can see it somehow. But I don't think that's good things to mess with because the more it seems people mess with it, the more trouble they get into. I wouldn't mess with any type of entities like ghosts or anything like demons or anything like that. I don't believe in angels because I haven't seen one. I really haven't met anybody that has seen one or has been touched by one. If that happens to me, maybe, but it could be an alien race screwing with your mind and thinking that there is, that you're being touched by an angel. A lot of people that are very smart and proclaimed as geniuses, they are told that information was like downloaded into their brain. They felt like they were a vessel, and somehow the information was passed on to them and given to the human race for some reason. And there are many versions of this that have been documented that people say that I don't understand, but I see these visions and I'm able to figure out these blueprints or whatever, music, something like that. And they felt like they were in contact with a supreme being and it was downloaded into their brain and they were able to figure it out all of a sudden. It makes sense that we may be protected by aliens, and we may be being destroyed by different races of aliens. So there's a fight between, protecting us, and some of them are evil, some of them are not evil. Some of them want to help us. From what I know, there's different types of aliens, and we've been in contact with aliens for a long time. Even the president actually had a meeting where I think pretty much what happened was he was given weapons that were able to win a war, and in exchange the aliens were able to test on humans for whatever reason. Maybe because aliens can't mate and have sex and create babies that way. I think they have to somehow make them. So I think in the future, that's what happens to us. We become different. When we're upgraded, different things happen, especially when the body reacts to no gravity. If we start living in an environment like on a spaceship, let's say there's a big spaceship and a lot of humans live on that spaceship, the anti-gravity, our bodies are going to change. They're going to become different. And if we're further away from the sun or closer to the sun, our eyes may change. That's why it looks like aliens have like these glary eyes. They look like they're sunglasses. Maybe we're closer to a star than in the future or something. And when you're traveling in a spaceship, you're time traveling. No matter what. If you have a spaceship and you are traveling and the speed of light, you're time traveling. So they're actually time travelers. If there are aliens and they are able to travel at these speeds that we can't produce yet, but probably will in the future. And I'm sure that alien crashes, the government has taken over ships and, reversed, tried to figure out the technology and try to use it for our advantage. Because look at the past century, from the 1900s to 2000, our technology was a big boost, a huge boost. I mean, electricity, TVs, electronics, all this, all in a century just happened to evolve very quickly. Why didn't that happen in the hundred of years before? I think that, this planet has become more interesting to supreme beings, so we're given this technology and we're slowly using it. Actually, we're using it at a pretty fast race, so I think we'll be developing pretty fast, even in the next century. We've already got patents for time travel. It's predicted in 2036 we'll be able to time travel. Teleporting. A kid, when he was younger, he's like now probably like 50 or 60, but he went somewhere with his father, and he was kind of scared, but he remembers everything from when he was a kid. He said he entered this big room, and there was this door with this electric rain in it, and his father said it'd be okay, and we're going to walk through it. And what happened when they walked through it, they teleported to Washington. And he was like, wow, it didn't adjust in his head because he's a little kid, but his father kind of told him about it. And his father disappeared, I believe, because of this. And he's trying to prove to the world that this technology already has been made on this planet, and he just doesn't have the evidence to back it up. But I think there's a lot of things that we don't know about the government have, even the president doesn't know about. There are like I think 5 to 7 classes above the president that he doesn't even know about. Things that are classified even go way above the president. There's things that the president just doesn't know about, and it's kind of a need-to-know basis. I'm sure if we had some kind of alien attack, the president would definitely learn a little bit more about aliens at that point. But right now we have a president that's more involved with making treaties all over the world instead of trying to focus on the United States. But, you know, the government isn't what it used to be. But if you go back to the beginning where George Washington, even he said where he was visited by aliens, and there is in Washington, if you look from the sky, there's the mark of the Freemasons, and it has all to do with a bigger race, a more intelligent race. I don't want to say alien or extraterrestrial because it just seems like the little green guys that are running around. I like to think of it as a race that's just more intelligent. And I don't want to be mocked that I believe in these little green guys that are running around. But there's too much going on lately to hide it. We could hide it in our past, but we can't hide it anymore. Even the Vatican has said, yes, there is a possibility that aliens are among us, and I think they know a lot more about aliens than most of us on this planet, because they have files that are locked away and nobody can see, not even our government are allowed to see. And I think they even have extraterrestrials themselves. They have some technology that we don't even know about. So that's why I think the Vatican knows a lot more than they like to say. So they're saying that they believe in a certain religion and they're putting a front on because they don't want everybody else to know about it. Knowledge is power. So if you have the power, you have this knowledge, you don't want to give it away freely, because if everybody knew, you wouldn't have any power. The Vatican wants power. So doesn't our government. So they have knowledge, which they have power. The Illuminati, all these secret societies. And even like Hollywood has a lot to do with a lot of secret societies that have to do with how our country is governed. There's just all this information that I'd like to talk to, but I don't want to make this huge video that's going to be like breaking down everything. But from what you hear from me, you can study, and if you're interested in it, you know, I can give you plenty of links that could show you some stuff that would, you know, knock your socks off, kind of change your view of how you see things. Hey, all of you out there that, you know, say Jesus loves you, hey, maybe Jesus does love me. I don't know Jesus. I'm the type of person that has to be touched in a way in my heart or in my brain to, you know, I'm not easily brainwashed. I like to see for myself and figure out things. I have my own mind and I think the way I want to. I don't want to follow someone just because they say this is the way it goes and that's it. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't knock all those people out there that you believe in your religion. That's cool with me. Do your thing. This is my opinion, and since you're watching this video, respect my opinion. That's all I ask. I don't try to knock people on their religion at all. I don't mind talking religion with people. I try to stay away from it because I know people are going to get offended. But I started thinking, no matter what I say, people are going to get offended. I offend people for some reason. I don't know why. But all of you out there that are going to get offended anyway and say, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. Write it if you want, whatever. But if someone wants to have a serious conversation about it, I'm up for it. If you can prove to me in some different way that would lead me down another path, go for it. If you really think you can do that, as long as it makes sense, I don't mind, talking about it. But since this video has gone on long enough, you have a basic idea of how my religion is. I don't know what you would call my religion. It's more of a scientific view than it is. It's kind of like being agnostic. You say there's a higher power, but you don't know what it is. That's pretty much the way you would classify me. But everybody that knows me, I don't like labels. I know we need them in certain situations, but I don't like to break down genres so much that it gets ridiculous. Like the freaking emo genre thing. Oh, it just annoys me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions for me, comment section. Usually check it out. Takes me a while because I get so much emails and comments and stuff. But I'll get back to you when I can. I think this is a very interesting thing, so I'm so open about talking about it. And that's about it. And we'll get to that Q&A video as soon as I can. Please send more questions in for me so I can do that Q&A video, because I'm getting a lot of the same questions, but I'd like some, original questions that you'd like to ask me to throw in there. Thanks for listening.